Jujube update. We have fruits, folks, and this one is our wild one, and it's loaded. As you can see here, it's actually kind of bending. I gotta put a wire here and kind of connect it to that to kind of pull them together. We'll have to do that soon before the concern is on the Y split right here. Let's get rid of this weed. Might be a crack right there. So the taste, the flavor of this one, it's sweet with a slight tart. For a wild one, it gets kind of as big as probably like a sugar cane, a little bit bigger than sugar cane. There are some that are as big as a Lee, actually. So this one is a very good tasting wild Jujube. So before you graft into your wild rootstock, you might want to check it first. The flavor, you might not need to graft anything from it, or leave some of the branches as your wild rootstock to fruit. Good for pollination also, or and it could be a good one. So we lucked out on this. This one sends out suckers that I plant. So because I know the flavor for the fruit is actually pretty good. So I marked those and I remember them so that I don't have to graft anything from them. All right, so let's see here. I'm just kind of looking at the ground right here. So this could be from the Lang, because that's the so I don't know the flavor profile of the Lang rootstock. So I'm gonna transfer that and then wait and see what the fruit tastes like. All right, so we're looking at the Lang right now. It's quite big and it's loaded also. Didn't like Lang for the first 2 years of its fruiting. However, I don't know what happened last year. I waited for them to kind of ripen, and you know, it's Lang. It's very unique, and it's like a gourd shape a fruit. They tasted really good, like caramel flavor. So I don't know what happened. Maybe as it gets older, it gets better. But last year they were really good, and I actually didn't even harvest them. I just let them to the birds and wildlife, and then finally tried one, and they were so good. And I changed my mind. I usually bash Lang with its flavor, but it kind of changed my mind. So I'll wait again this year. I don't know, last year was just a fluke. So they're the biggest one growth wise we have so far. The rest are still kind of tiny, and some are still flowering. So in the back right here we have Lang, and quite big, and then the wild one, which is loaded. We love the flavor of this, but you have to wait for it to have that ripeness, brown color. Otherwise it's kind of firm. Unlike sugar cane or honey jar, you can kind of eat them green. This one are kind of tough, kind of like contorted or saw fruit. They're kind of firm until they're fully ripe. Okay, so we're going to move on to the patch, the orchard of Jujube, where we planted a lot, and there's a lot of kind of insect damage on this also. All right, so let's take a look at the other one I transplanted. So there was a runner from this, and I planted it right here. This one is loaded as well. So this is the same kind of rootstock or wild Jujube as the other one. or it could be from the lang. I'm guessing this is probably from the lang because the fruits are a little bit longer. The first rootstock, the one that was loaded, they kind of look like bell shape, like a sandia. So this might be a runner from the lang rootstock. So we'll know the flavor and taste this year. So hopefully some of this will actually get fully ripened and they don't get destroyed by insect. The destructions usually this could be birds. I don't know what's eating them, but they take a chunk like that and just ruins the fruit. So you need a lot if you want to stay organic to win against nature, because there's just so many factors. All right, so let's take a look at the name varieties that I planted here on the half row of the blackberries. All right, so good news though, from the last video, 2 were dying. So they just, I don't know if it's like heat related stuff or they're just new growth, and all their growth just kind of disappeared. So this honey jar right here came back. So this is the one with all the dried branches and leaves. So it came back. We were gone for several weeks, and I was hoping it'll come back, and they did. It did. So this is honey jar. It's alive. The other one that was dying is the contorted or saw. As you can see right here, it's also alive. It's back. All right, so that one came back. This is another honey jar, and this one fruited last year, and it tastes exactly like honey jar, so I can confirm this is not a mislabel. See that damage right there? That's what's happening with most of the Jujubes. And Chico right here. This one is also guaranteed Chico because it fruited last year. It has that pumpkin shape, sweet and crunchy and juicy, so not a mislabel. So it looks like we're gonna get to try a little bit of Chico if they make it. All right, so this are this area's Jujube. Let's go to the big patch. And all this rain is gonna help with all the growth here. But since this is Texas, this is probably the last rain we're gonna get for a bit. All right, so here we go. It's right by the tree house. So let's go through all the name varieties first and take a look at how they're doing. The rest are all rootstock. Since we locked out on that rootstock, I'm willing to wait now and see how the fruit develops, if it's a keeper, or I'm gonna graft regardless because they have multiple branches. So all right, so this one is Lee. Growth wise, there's a dieback at the top right there. It just happens during winter. It flowered a lot, but I think poor pollination is what's happening. So hopefully we get a few so we can really try it. It's how it tasted, just like how it's described online. So there's new growth right there at the rootstock. I need to go there and kind of cut that out since that's unwanted growth. But it's developing its fruit right here. So this is from Ison. We bought another Lee, as you can see from if you watch our video. This is from Ison's nursery. It's labeled as Lee, and I kept the label still in there. And look at the fruit. Do they look familiar? Yeah, it looks like a lang. So I transferred it here. So this used to be the Shaanxi Lee, and it didn't make. So we lost a Shaanxi Lee, and I replaced it with the Lee that's actually a lang. All right, let's go over here. GA866 has a lot of flowers before we went on a break, and only a few made it, and that's yellowing, so I don't think that's even gonna make. So typical of GA866. So it started really good. Oh man, there's two that made and they got the damage right there. So definitely low producer in our area. There's one, there's already damage right there. So there's something that's eating all this. I don't know what it is. So I don't know if we're gonna get any GA866. However, this one flowers again, and they actually make it really late fall. They ripen, so we might get another flush of flower from this. And there's some of those, but not very promising since it went very vigorous. It went up all the way there, so the more fruiting branches, the more chance. It's still flowering. So GA866, at least in my area, Northeast Texas, Zone 8B. If you really like this one, you probably would have to plant a lot to get your fruit numbers. All right, so Autumn Beauty, this is our latest addition. As you can see, it went nuts with flowering with just a small shrub. So this is all the growth since buying it this year. And man, look at all the damage. I'm hoping we'll get some and get to taste it. I haven't tried Autumn Beauty. I got this based on rarity and flavor profile from Facebook group where they sing praises about Autumn Beauty flavor. Got this from Bob Wells. All right, so hopefully we'll get some to taste. Shangzi Li. So this is one of our surviving Shangzi Li, and they're getting big. I mean, this purpose of that one, so they're kind of elongated like that, but then they change to kind of your typical bigger leaf shape. So yeah, so they look like this at the beginning and then they kind of change. So this is Shangzi Li, and it's no damage on this one on the fruit, so which is good. So, and it's quite productive. All right, it's got deer damage, so that's why I put this wire protection right here, and I let another one grow like the main growing branch, because I don't know if that damage will heal, but it looks like it did. All right, sugar cane. So sugar cane is still flowering, I think, and it's got fruits already. And this is pretty much the shape for the sugar cane, but it'll get a lot bigger than what we see right here. All right, so sugar cane and honey jar. So honey jar, this doesn't have any vegetative growth at all. This is all just fruiting branches. Not a lot of fruit this year, but some of them made. So it flowered a lot, and then a lot didn't get pollinated, I guess. So I'd like to see more growth from this, but it looks like consensus is the same. It's just not a very vigorous tree to begin with, and I think it needs a few more years and then it'll take off. That's what I read. All right, so on to the wild ones. So here in the shade, not a whole lot of thing happening. That one's probably gonna take off. There's two right there. As you can see here, I left the meadow for pollination. I didn't mow it, so I'm gonna plant some wildflowers there. So there's are the bigger ones. And hopefully we'll get our we get to taste the fruit on this one. There's some. So actually there's several right here. All right, so we get to taste this one, then we'll decide if we're just gonna cut it down there and grab Autumn Beauty for sure once we have enough scion. Okay, here's another, some of the more bigger ones. This one has plenty of fruits. They're tiny, but they're getting there. So this one has kind of like a pear shape. Little fruits, and it's still flowering. This one is the rootstock of the GA866 that died. I let it grow, and look at it, it's almost as, well, not as tall as the GA866, but it's getting there. It's got green growth also, so it's still gonna grow. It's flowering still, but it has set fruit already. So let's see this fall or summer how the fruit tastes. All right, so let's go over here, the bigger ones. So this one doesn't have a lot of fruit. There's one right here, so we'll go and kind of document the flavor on this, so that if it's like bitter or super sour and whatnot, then it's really up for grafting, or just leave it alone. All right, here's another one. It's got fruit. There's some at the top. It's quite tall. And then the rest right here. Does this have any fruit? No. Oh yeah, there's a few right there. It flowered a lot, but not a lot got pollinated. And that's the case with the loaded wild jujube as well. It's not a whole lot at the first few years in ground, and then after 3 years, I think they just went nuts. It's like fully loaded. All right, so let's there's 4 more actually here, but we're just gonna take a look at the 3. They're kind of separated by this hickory nut. And I gotta mow. There's a lot of mowing needs to be done. I couldn't do any of it because of the rain. All right, so there's one of them. A lot of growth this year. This kind of got neglected with watering. So there's a few fruits on this one. So hopefully it'll all ripen and we get to document the flavor. This one is still flowering. As you can see, that wasp is pollinating them. All right, there's some fruits. It's still flowering. There's another one. The one in the back is full of fruits, and I don't want to walk all the way back there. All right, so this one is set at fruit already, and it's still flowering. All right, so that's the June update, and we'll come back in a month and see any progress on the fruit, if they made it or they fell off or they all got eaten. So thank you for watching.